UFC 312 went down Saturday night, for some of us Sunday morning, for me Sunday morning, in Sydney, Australia, with Sean Strickland and the champion, Dricus du Plessis, headlining with another epic match on du Plessis' part, of course. So decisions. I'm going to be covering the main card mostly. Very decision-y tonight. This night was you can't have knockouts every night. Bonus went to Taliesin Texera for his matchup against the poor Justin Taffer. I think the height differences just weren't working for Justin. He wasn't that much smaller than Taliesin Texera, but I think that limited his ability to level change, and Texera was able to level change immediately and hit him with that elbow. Insane. I think he must have broke his nose, I'm not sure. But I did not see that coming. I thought Justin had a bit more of a chance in that fight. In the first round, I mean, if I was a betting man, I wasn't going to put money on Texera having a first round finish in this match. I really wasn't. At some point, they'll lose a fight or win a fight in the second or the third round. This was just not the night for him. As we've seen in the past couple of months since the start of the year, there are a lot of fighters losing their zeros, including Tatiana Suarez Saturday night, Talbot losing his zero 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like, what is going on? Shara Bullet losing his zero. What is going on? Umar Nurmagomedov losing his zero. What is going on in the world of MMA this year? I mean, 2025, the end of the zeros this year, but obviously for Taliesin Texera, it just wasn't right now. I think Taliesin might have a great chance to be someone in the UFC's heavyweight division if he can easily finish Justin Taffer. I'm not saying Justin Taffer is a top 5 heavyweight contender, but he's not an easy opponent either. So if Texera is able to get through Justin Taffer in less than 5 minutes, then I think he should get another fight in the next 3 or 4 months against someone in the top 10. That would be great to see, and we'll see how he matches up to a top 10 contender, maybe a Spivak or even a Pavlovich. Who knows? I'd love to see how he'd line up against a top 10 guy, because he's really showed some great potential, and he's steamrolling through these guys. 8-0, guys. The zero is there. So he got the $50,000 bonus, obviously the only great knockout of the whole night. Congratulations to Texera for his first round knockout of Justin Taffer and his $50,000 bonus. That's amazing. Now moving on. The first 2 matches on the main cards, it was kind of close on both hands. Jake Matthews, Prado. I kind of was hoping Prado would show us a bit of his talent. Jake Matthews was just a better man at that time. There's nothing more to say about it, honestly. Better stats, got his jabs in there, got his leg kicks in there, but it just wasn't enough to beat Jake Matthews by decision. Second match of the main card, Jimmy Crute, Rodolfo Bellato. Do I need to talk about this match? Honestly, a draw. I was so disappointed. I was expecting a lot of good things from this match. I don't know what to say. It was a shame that it came to a draw. I just kind of think sometimes fighters take their foot off the gas because they're too scared to get hit. This is coming from someone who's never been in an octagon, so don't judge. Moving on to the co-main event, Weili Zhang versus Tatiana Suarez. I was a big fan of Tatiana Suarez. I've been a big fan of her. People might say she's a fragile fighter, gets a lot of injuries, a lot of time off, but she's been through a lot. Her story's really inspiring to me, and I didn't know how this match was going to go. I thought it was going to go either way. Tatiana's grappling and ground game is insane, but obviously Weili Zhang showed us on Saturday night that even if Tatiana is great on the ground, Weili is just levels above her competition. Obviously there's the whole strawweight goat conversation, and I think we might have a potential contender for strawweight goat status, honestly. She's beat everyone, and she's 35 currently. Let me just check how old she is. Weili, just so I'm not saying anything I shouldn't be saying. Yeah, she's currently 35. People might say 35 years old is when you hang up the boots and stop fighting, but she is nowhere near done. She is nowhere near done. I see her fighting at least for another 3 years, seeing how she's doing. She's physically fit. She's got great cardio. Tatiana, hope she comes back stronger. Hope she comes back better. She seems to take her loss on the chin. Obviously, first loss of her life in her pro MMA career. So maybe she'll come back with a bit more anger, a bit more zhuzh, and maybe the fact that she's lost her zero will make her even more aggressive in her fighting style, and that's maybe what she needs for the upcoming fight she might have. I hope so, at least. And last but not least, the main event of Saturday night's UFC Sydney card, UFC 312, Dricus du Plessis, Sean Strickland. Honestly, I could not believe how much Sean Strickland was just numb in this match. He was not taking any risks. Obviously, as you saw, his coach Eric Nixick was telling him, "You're predictable. He knows you're going to fight like that. He knows how you fight. You're not changing anything in your fight game. You need to switch it up because he knows he studied your fights. He doesn't need to study your fights anymore because you're just so predictable. You never come with anything new to the table, which is really what I was thinking when I was watching the whole match. I was like, what the hell is going on, Sean? Where are you? Where do you think you are, at least? It is just crazy to me how Sean Strickland is the same guy who stood face to face with Israel Adesanya in the octagon and won the UFC middleweight championship belt in a very competitive fight, but had a clearly dominant fight against Israel Adesanya. We didn't see an Izzy as we usually saw him. He might have had some issues, some maybe weight cut problems. We don't know. Obviously, Izzy, he's not the same Izzy as we saw back in the day, back in 2019, back when he was in his prime. But that's normal. Izzy's getting older, but he's still Israel Adesanya. So when I saw Sean Strickland on Saturday night, I was like, where is the same Sean that beat Israel Adesanya? Where is that drive to get your belt back? Apart from jabbering on saying, I'm going to get my belt back, this fight is going to be a war, we're going to go to war, we're going to try and kill each other. That's all we get from Sean now. We get the big mouth, we get the promises, and we get certainly the unfulfilled promises in his matchups. But kudos to Dricus du Plessis. He just shows in every fight how good this guy is. I mean, he might have the most awkward fighting style ever. Sometimes you're like, why is his arm so high up and his body so low down whilst he's jabbing the guy? But it's just an unpredictable fighting stance that really puts fighters off when you're in front of him. And I think Sean Strickland was just being controlled from A to Z in this fight. And he never really looked like he attempted to take back the dominance, take back the control in the fight. So kudos to du Plessis. Du Plessis said that Sean Strickland was he was impossible to knock out. I think it was possibly because Sean Strickland just didn't try to do anything new and exciting. When Sean kind of goes out of his comfort zone and starts jabbing differently, changing his guard up, maybe trying to get some takedowns, even though it's never happened in the last, I don't know how many matches that we've seen from Sean Strickland. I just think it's just because he didn't switch it up that he wasn't able to be knocked out. I think if Sean would have tried to switch it up, when Eric said to him at the end of the fourth round, you've only got one round left, 5 minutes. Don't waste this time. Try and get a finish. He should have tried to get a finish. He should have at least risked it to get a finish. He'd already lost the first 4 rounds. Why not risk it all? Even if you get knocked out, why not risk it all to try and knock out a du Plessis, to try and finish the match and get your belt back? He just didn't want to. And as Eric Nixick said to Ariel Helwani, if Sean is looking for big money fights but no belts, then that's not the kind of guy he's willing to coach. So I don't think we'll be seeing Eric Nixick in Sean Strickland's corner from now onwards. I think he'll be looking for new coaching. I think Sean, if I was to predict the future a little bit, I think Sean might still be a title contender in the next few years. He's still young. How old is Sean Strickland? I thought it was about 31. Let me just verify. 33. So Sean, maybe in the next 2 or 3 years, he'll try and get back to title contention, or maybe we'll see him just slowly triple down the middleweight division weight class. I hope not for him. I really hope not. But if I were to predict the future, Sean might find some new coaches or some new sparring partners as well. And maybe that will re-boost his confidence. And also, well, not confidence because we know he's got a lot of that. But in the ring, his confidence just doesn't look like it's there. the confidence he's got on the mic is not the same when he's in the octagon. So I think with a new coach, with some new coaching staff, with some new sparring partners, it might revive Sean's hunger to go to battle. Because if you compare some of Sean's fights from even a year ago, it's not the same Sean we saw against Duplessis, but I think he knows Duplessis was a very dangerous opponent, and so he played it safe, played it way too safe.